What is going on, everybody? Welcome back once again to another episode of Seahawks Now. We're here to talk about TJ Watt, the latest updates on him. Plus, should the Seahawks trade tight end Noah Fant? We're going to talk about that. And we talk about the defensive back rankings and why one ranking does not have the Seahawks defensive backs in the top 10, why I may or may not agree with that. All that and more right here today on Seahawks Now. But first, if you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another breaking news alert. All right, let's get into things. TJ Watt. I've been talking about TJ Watt for a while because there is definitely conflicting reports over whether or not he actually wants to be in Pittsburgh. Now, we've seen some things that indicate maybe he doesn't, right? There was a cryptic Instagram post where he was holding up the peace sign as if to say, peace, but I'm out. Right? We did see that. We talked about that. There has been reports that he's not happy with his current contract. He wants a new contract. He's got one more year of his contract, similar to what the Trey Hendrickson situation is, right? He needs a new contract. He hasn't gotten it yet. This is the last year of his current deal. And of course, what happens when guys are in this situation is they start to get worried, right? What if I get hurt? What if I tank my value? What if I don't end up with a contract next year? That's what guys are always worrying about. I mean, yeah, it's fair to worry about that, especially when you're a superstar player. The difference between Hendrickson and Watt is that Watt's current deal, he is getting paid fairly. Hendrickson was not getting paid fairly. He's already getting paid way less than he deserves, but we're talking about TJ Watt right now. We're talking about TJ Watt and why the latest updates say a trade seems less likely. This is a bummer. This is according to ESPN's analyst Dominic Foxworth. He calls a trade for the Steelers star unlikely. Now, there have been trade talks. There have been rumors. There are teams that are interested. We've heard about the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Packers, the Lions, even the Seahawks, who have maybe been interested. But here's what Foxworth says. He says he thinks it's unlikely. I can't imagine that they would trade him for draft picks because, as Bill Barnwell said, they're looking to go all in this season. They did just sign Aaron Rodgers. They traded for DK Metcalf. They traded for Jalen Ramsey. They traded for Jonnu Smith. However, they also let go of George Pickens. They also let go of Minkah Fitzpatrick. So they're kind of retooling. I'm not sure if that's all in. I feel like if you're going all in, you're keeping Metcalf and Pickens, right? If you're going all in, you're keeping Fitzpatrick and you're trading for Jalen Ramsey, right? You're finding a way to make that work with all those guys instead of having to trade some pieces to get better in other areas. Personally, I don't think they are going all in. I think that they are going half in. I think the Steelers have kind of retooled. I don't think that they are a team that is necessarily all in on 2025. And I honestly don't think you can be when your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think that he is a guy anymore that's going to be all in for your season. But I digress. According to these reports, yeah, the Steelers are trying to win. And in that case, yeah, why would they trade away one of their best players? Probably their best player. Now, I will say, he skipped mandatory minicamp. The Steelers are hoping to avoid losing more time. They're optimistic that they can reach a deal with him. They do expect he will be the highest paid pass rusher in the league. Yeah, he's currently on year 4 of a 4-year, $112 million deal. If they're going to pay him, they're probably going to have to give him somewhere in the $40 million average annual value range. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Here's what Fowler says. Jeremy Fowler says, quote, "They believe at 30 years old, he still has several good years left. They're just going to have to come up with a number and a good guarantee structure. He did miss minicamp, so Pittsburgh has a lot of work to do, but typically Pittsburgh perks up on these things around training camp and late July." Yeah, so most reports right now are saying they're going to try to get his contract done. They don't want to trade him, and I get it. I wouldn't trade him either if I was them. I still hope the Seahawks can figure out a way to pull it off. I still hope that it happens. And again, if the rumors heat up, if things start to get going, and the Seahawks are interested, I'm going to keep talking about it. In fact, I'm probably going to keep talking about him regardless. But the latest updates do make it sound less likely than maybe it previously was thought. All right, let's move on. Should the Seahawks trade Noah Fant, or can he improve? Now, my big question on this season is, who is the Seahawks starter tight end going to be? Last year, it was mostly Noah Fant, although A.J. Barner did make some starts as well. But the stats just weren't really there for Noah Fant last year. 48 receptions on 500 yards, just 1 touchdown. He started 9 games. If you look at A.J. Barner's numbers, Barner, he actually had more touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns on 30 receptions, but he only went for 245 yards. He started 6 games, and I'm honestly not sure who started the other games. I guess Pharaoh Brown might have started a couple, but he didn't. He was kind of a non-factor. Now the Seahawks have also added Julian Arroyo, who I think could be good, and we'll see. We'll see what he's able to do. I think Arroyo. I mean, yeah, or excuse me, Elijah Arroyo, not Julian. Elijah Arroyo, who I believe, he's a second round pick. He was good last year, but again, who knows how he's going to do as a rookie? We're just going to have to see. If you look at Pharaoh Brown, Pharaoh Brown last year, he started 7 games with the Seahawks, but only caught 8 passes for 65 yards, no touchdowns, and he's no longer on the team. He's with the Dolphins, actually. So that's where we're at with the Seahawks tight end situation. My question is, who's going to emerge as the starter? Is it going to be Arroyo, that second round rookie who clearly has some potential? He was good last year with the University of Miami, where he was one of the best tight ends in all of college football. Is it going to be A.J. Barner, who last year, I think you could say he kind of broke out? I mean, he went for 4 touchdowns, but again, only 245 yards. Or is Fant going to secure his spot? Now, I don't think the Seahawks should trade Noah Fant. I know it's a popular thing among kind of the analysts saying, why don't we trade Noah Fant? My question is this. Why do it? Because A, I don't think he has very much value. He only caught 1 touchdown last year. His numbers are going down, and his health is not great. So not much value there. B, I just don't see what the point of trading him is. He's not that expensive. And at the end of the day, if he makes your tight end room better, even if he's not your star, I mean, I hope that Barner and Arroyo are the 2 go-to guys next year at the position. I hope that Noah Fant is your 3rd-string guy by the end of the year. And at the same time, I still don't see why it would make any sense to trade him, because he's cheap and he's not going to get you much. Like, if you trade Noah Fant, you might get a 5th-round pick for him back. I don't think you're getting anything higher than that because he doesn't have the value. And if you don't trade him, if you trade him, you get a 5th-round pick. Okay, sure, great. But now you lose the guy who is still currently your best tight end. Now, will he be your best tight end by the end of the season? Again, I'm not sure, but I don't see much of a need to trade him right now. But a lot of analysts think that the Seahawks should trade him. He's kind of been in the trade rumors block for a while. Personally, I would keep him. That's what I'd do if I was John Schneider. All right, last but not least, where do the Seahawks defensive backs rank among the NFL? We've been going through the offense. I think we finished up the offense, so it's time to talk about the DBs. Specifically, here's what PFF has to say. They don't think the Seahawks have a top 10 secondary. According to PFF's John Costco, he ranks them 12th. They're in the same territory as the Jets, Jaguars, and Colts. Those teams have players like Charvarius Ward, Travis Hunter, and Sauce Gardner, so it's pretty solid praise, but it's still not top 10. Here's what he writes, quote, "The top 3 players in this unit are very strong, but depth remains a major question mark. Safety Julian Love has improved his PFF grade in 5 consecutive seasons, earning an 82.2 in 2024. Cornerbacks Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen excel at preventing separation and limiting big plays. Safety Kobe Bryant may have found his groove after posting a 72.8 grade in 2024, up from 34 the previous year, but it will be a wait-and-see approach with him and with rookie Nick Emenwari." Yeah, here's what I'll say about that. I think the Seahawks have the potential to climb into the top 10. I think it all comes down to Nick Emenwari. Look, the guy was billed as the best safety prospect in the draft, but he is still considered a work in progress. A lot of people think he might not even be able to play safety in his rookie season. He might have to do kind of a mixture of things. He's still learning the position. But at the same time, if he's able to do what he's capable of doing, if he's able to be the player that a lot of people think he's capable of becoming, especially in a Mike McDonald schemed defense, then yes, this defensive backs core can easily be a top 10 core in the league. And I agree, the depth is not great, but like I said, Kobe Bryant is there, and he's going to be good, I think. And they also just added Shaq Griffin back into the mix. I think he'll be a really solid depth piece at corner. So I don't hate the depth anymore. I think I was much more worried about the depth before we signed Shaq Griffin, just because I think we really needed a 3rd cornerback. But now we've got it. And I also don't think Jackson Jobe is that bad either. So I would actually put us a little bit higher. I think we do deserve to be in the top 10, and I would put us right at about 10. And by the way, I also think that the New York Jets, they have a really good secondary. I'm not sure why they're not in the top 10 either. So I think this guy might have gotten things a little bit off. I think he maybe reads a little too much into the PFF rankings, and maybe he does weight depth a little too heavily, because I think a big part of defensive backs is, do you have guys that are capable of getting interceptions? And I think the Seahawks do have that. I think the Seahawks are able to do it. And I would put them right around that 10th, maybe even 9th or 10th spot in the top 10. And this is my first position group that I'm putting in the top 10 for the Seahawks is the defensive backs. I had the running back ranking right around 12th. I had the quarterbacks around 17 or 18. Similarly, I had the wide receivers right around the 18th best and the tight ends right around 20, with the offensive line also coming in around 20 to 18. So my first position group in the top 10 officially is DBs. And with that being said, we're going to wrap this video up for today. As always, leave a like below, leave a comment. Who do you think, where do you think the Seahawks defensive backs rank, right? Comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say. And as always, until next time, go Seahawks.